Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing my predictions for UFC Fight Night 102 Cannonier versus Rodrigues, or Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. Let's get into this. Starting off the card, we have Julia Vila versus Jacqueline Calavanti. I'm going to go with Jacqueline Calavanti. Julia Vila lost to Miesha Tate a year and a bit ago in 2023. She got submitted literally. Miesha just wandering back into the sport and just got a free win, by the way. Like, if someone just wanders back in the sport, like, come on. Julia is 36 years of age. She has a great win over Julia Strolenko, which is alright, I guess. Another one she did was Gina Masny. Remember that? Yeah, I totally do. That was the second most recent win in 2020. She TKO'd her Sajara Eubanks. She lost that one. I'm looking at Jacqueline Calavanti, and she's taken on some tough women. Josen Nunes, Zara Fan. There are so many tough women that she has taken on, and she has been Josen Nunes legitimately Josen Nunes literally throws punches like a man, basically. Like, she's very dangerous. And Jacqueline, to beat her, and then beat Nora Cornell, those are pretty solid wins back-to-back. So I'm going with Jacqueline Calavanti against Julia Vila here. I think Jacqueline is pretty impressive, younger, more to improve upon. Rangier makes sense to me. Yeah, so I got Jacqueline Calavanti by decision. The next fight on the card we have is Walter Walker versus Dontel Mays. I'm going to go with Walter Walker here. I'm worried about this pick because Dontel Mays didn't even get finished by the great Shmuel Gaziev. Walter Walker, I reckon he is going to win. I was shocked by his debut performance by Lucas Bretska. To be fair, he could have won it, but he could have landed more shots on or done more takedowns. Walter is 12-1. Beat a lot of people in the regional scene for Bretska in his debut, now is nicknamed the Clean Monster, and I believe this guy was sourced to oblivion in the regional scene. He was so unbelievably yoked in the regionals, chucking people around, beating them. He then shows up in his UFC debut like a fucking disgrace, saggy, out of shape, looked, he was out of shape. Looked a little bit better against Junior Tafa, but I mean, that's fucking Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa's fucking shit. So Walter is probably going to get this one done by decision. I have Walter Walker here winning. And yeah. Next fight on the card, we have Vince Morales versus Elijah Smith. I'm going to go with Elijah Smith, the prospect over Vince Morales. Vince Morales can be tricky, and I have hesitated on picking him to win fights before, but at this point, I just don't think it's very likely to be a good prospect in Elijah Smith. He fought Taylor Lipless when he came back to the UFC, which is a pretty underrated fighter in the UFC. He also, so he got the UFC debut against Taylor, or re-debut, because he had an initial run and ended up losing this. It's a trickier one than you think to pick. Yeah, it's a very tricky one to pick. I was very impressed by Elijah Smith, and I do think he will go on. Vince Morales is a tricky one, though, because he is a UFC vet. Vince did lose to Miles Johnson, Jonathan Martinez in UFC. Those aren't bad losses, really. But I am going to go with the newcomer, Elijah Smith, in this fight. It's cool to see that Vince is getting another shot in the UFC, but I'm going to go with Elijah Smith to get this one done. He looked great in the Contender Series. He showed great grappling, so yeah, give me Elijah Smith by decision here. Very excited for this fight. This looks like a ton of fun. Next fight on the card, we have Gabriel Bonfim versus Chaos Williams. I'm going with Chaos Williams here as the underdog here. I think he's going to chin Gabriel Bonfim. I was watching the Ange Lusa fight with Gabriel Bonfim, and I just don't like when people go that close of a decision. I think it's a very bad look, and Ange Lusa was getting him down, keeping him there, and was scrambling. And I don't think I can rely on Gabriel Bonfim to just go out there and immediately bulldoze Chaos Williams in the grappling and submit him. And if I can't trust him to do that, the guy got finished by Nicholas Dalby in round 2. I think Dalby is good, but I could see Chaos Williams taking Dalby's chin off in a fight. It's a concerning fight. It's interesting, but I think I'm going to go with Chaos Williams here. He actually had a pretty good resume. He hasn't been too active, which has been the problem in his career. He can't really build momentum because, well, he isn't really active, but the guy does win. And if you give him the performance win over Randy Brown, which you could, that's very impressive. That is a very impressive win of him. And if he did, that would have put him on the current fight win streak in the welterweight division. So give me Chaos Williams by knockout round 2. I'm going to go with the underdog, and I do not care. I love picking underdogs, trust me. Next fight on the card, we have Rafael Estevam versus, is it Jesus? No, it's Jesus Aguilera. When I first looked at this fight on this card, I thought Jesus Aguilera is fucking awful. I only know this guy from losing now. I went back through his record, hold on a second. I only know this guy from losing to Tatsuro Taira. And other than that, he's done nothing but win in the UFC. He lost the debut against Tatsuro Taira, got beaten pretty easily by submission in the first round. Then he got knocked out by Shannon Ross, Mateus Mendoza. He bit a little bit of an interesting decision for caught Stuart Nickel in a guillotine, but he did miss weight in that fight. Either way, I don't mind if he gets the win there. Rafael Estevam thought he out-grappled Charles Johnson for 2 straight rounds very effectively. Now, Charles Johnson put a bit of a beating on at the end of the third, where we saw Estevam slow down, but that is what's going to happen when your game plan is trying to take down Charles Johnson. So, very difficult thing to do, especially to control him in those positions as well, because he's a very big dude for the flyweight division. He's got a big frame for the division. He's hard to keep down. He's hard to keep your body weight across. We saw Makayev struggle with the Charles Johnson in their fight, and trying to implement any effective grappling, he was just failing takedowns on him. I'm going with Rafael Estevam, just based on the wrestling. But yeah, I've got him by decision here, winning, and yeah. Next fight on the card, we have Angela Hill versus Ketlin Souza. This is a tricky one. Ketlin Souza is young. She's beat Yasmin Jaguru. She finished her in the first round. She put her away with a rear naked choke. It was nasty. Marnik Man, she beat a unanimous decision. She beat a unanimous decision. It did get competitive in moments, which I don't like, because Marnik Man looks absolutely fucking horrific, and she got head kicked knocked by Bruna Brazil on the Contender Series. I might actually go with Angela Hill. I hate going with that pick because, well, she wins often. But if you look back in her career, she wins often. But nowadays, I mean, she lost to Tabitha Ritchie, which is not a good loss for Tabitha Ritchie. I thought that was an embarrassing performance. Luna Pahiro, she finished Denise Gomez. She bit her quite clearly, in my opinion. Mackenzie Dern fight was iffy. She lost that one. Great performance by Dern. Emily DeCote, she bit, and then that was a good win. Lupita Godinez, she bit, and I'm going with that was another good win from her. I'm going to go with Angela Hill. She fought the best of the best and pretty tough. Hard to finish. I'm going to go with Angela Hill by decision here. The next fight on the card we have is Conor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. History tells me Jose Delgado is going to be good. I mean, think about the names in the lower divisions that trains in his gym. Marcus McGee, Sean O'Malley, Mario Batista. Just think about bantamweights, let alone featherweights. Alex Conquez, Benson Henderson, Jared Cannonier. You've got a ton of people in this gym around this region that are good. Marcus McGee coming up on bantamweight as well. This guy got legendary training partners. These are really good fighters. It's hard to tell how good these guys are in Conor Matthews and Jose Delgado, but I am going to trust in the evolution of Jose Delgado's gym that he is at. And if you look historically at New England Cartel, when it comes to fighters, not named Kelvin Cater, or Rob Font, they're pretty shit historically. They are. They are. I'm going with Jose Delgado. I think he's going to be more well-rounded, a little bit cleaner on the feet. I reckon he'll probably get this one done by decision. So get me Jose Delgado by decision. Next fight on the card we have is Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Prochazka. What is this matchup, to be honest, in 2025? Not letting people go. I'm going with Rodolfo Vieira here, just based on the jiu-jitsu. I'm just going to start valuing credentials that aren't US wrestling. I'm going with Rodolfo Vieira. Andre Prochazka is good, but his stand-up is just so untalented. That's really the only way I can describe his stand-up. This guy is so unbearably untalented on the feet. Smoked by Michael Pereira on the feet, bit Dylan Budke, bit Josh Friend, but Rodolfo Vieira is not going to let him just get the grappling going the way he has been in some of his other opponents. And on the feet, I don't mind Rodolfo Vieira here having the win. Now, I know he lost to Chris Curtis, but actually, he did alright on that. He did alright on the feet in that fight. He had a good jab. He had good straight punches. There was some level of talent that I do detect in that Andre Prochazka game over there. Then probably he's a hard worker and he's got a hell of a gas tank, and that kind of grind out to a decision wins. I just don't think he can grind out a decision win over Rodolfo Vieira here. I'm going to trust Rodolfo Vieira to get this one done, probably by submission round 2. Next fight on the card, we have Ismail Bonfim versus Nazim Sadikov. Now, this is a tricky one. Ismail Bonfim is a very good prospect, and then he lost to Benoit Saint Denis, which, remember the good old days when Benoit Saint Denis was like, the one that was supposed to be Islam Makhachev, the one that was going to beat Dustin Poirier. Remember that? Yeah, that was funny. Anyway, he hasn't been active, which I like. They rescheduled the Vince McHale fight because Bonfim missed weight. They rebooked it and ended up beating him pretty convincingly. It wasn't too impressive though. He lost to Benoit, beat Terrence McKinney. I'm going to go with Ismail Bonfim here over Nazim Sadikov. It's a tricky fight to predict. Sadikov has had ones where he has been letting fights get away from him, and he gets his fights scrappy, and then he doesn't have anything to help him with. He can't force anything for him to win, which just sucks for Nazim Sadikov. But I mean, Ismail Bonfim, he's Brazilian. Like, come on. I'm going with Ismail Bonfim by a decision. Next fight on the card, we have Edmund Shabazian versus Dylan Budke. I'm going to go with Edmund Shabazian getting an early TKO win over Dylan Budke. That's what I am picking on this. What's going to happen, I got Edmund TKO early in the round, probably round 2. The reason why Edmund is my pick is because, Dylan Budke is an American top-heavy wrestler. And, how are they going at the moment? Well, guess what? They're not fucking going well, alright? For example, one of the best top-heavy wrestlers, American wrestlers, everyone, Bo Nickel. His last fight was against Paul Craig. And yes, Bo won. But where the fuck was he wrestling at? American wrestling is just not, it's not a big threat anymore. It used to be a massive threat, a little bit ago. But now it's just like no one cares. I think Edmund will win. He is the favorite of minus 255. So yeah, give me Edmund Shabazian by TKO round 2. Now for the co-main event, we have Calvin Kattar versus Yusuf Zalal. I'm going with Yusuf Zalal over Calvin Kattar. I liked Calvin Kattar from the come-up. I did think there were weaknesses, like he lost a bunch recently, Josh Emmett fight. The Josh Emmett fight, I did think Calvin got robbed, which is so bad for him. But since that, his injuries with this ACL tear and the Arnold Allen fight. And he tore his ACL in that Josh Emmett fight and then took ages to come back. And then he injured again against Arnold Allen. And now and then he came back to fight Aljamain Sterling, and then Aljo just completely ragdolls him for 3 rounds straight. Fair play. He doesn't get finished, which is impressive. For a guy with bantamweight technique and skill who's trying to out-grapple you, But I'm going with Zalal because Zalal can mix it up and he can wrestle. He will chop low kicks. He can box. He can float around the outside, and he moves laterally a lot. And well, he moves around the outside a ton. And I think Calvin Kattar will have too little time. I think there's Zalal chewing up his legs, grappling with him, taking his back for a round or two. I'm going with Yusuf Zalal here by decision. I think Yusuf Zalal is the favourite. Yes, he is the favourite. And, he's deserving of this fight. I love Yusuf Zalal. He's fantastic. And, Calvin Kattar, sucks to be you, mate. Next fight on the card. The main event. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. I actually think Cannonier is more of a sound striker. He mixes it up a little better than Gregory Rodrigues does. However, he is getting very old. I am worried by how much time he has left in the sport because he has been taking a lot of damage recently in his career. And he has had some wins. Well, he had a win over Sean Strickland, which is very impressive. A Vittori, which was very, very impressive. But then you look at someone with talent against him. Braulio, I just fucked that name. Braulio, is that it? What the fuck is happening with voice? Amavov, whatever the fuck his name is. And he kept it up with. I'm just gonna call him Amavov, but Amavov did finish him. I know it was an early stoppage, but he would have been finished there. Then he fought Braulio, and well, I'm gonna call it a TKO loss because I don't know how he made it through that fifth round. I don't know how Braulio just didn't finish him, but I do think Braulio should have followed up in the fourth. If he would have just landed that shot and walked off, the ref would have 100% stepped in. I'm going to pick Gregory Rodrigues to win here. I just think Cannonier is getting too old and should just put the gloves up at this point. That's what I'd do in his shoes. I just think Gregory Rodrigues, he's on a 3-fight win streak at the moment. Bet Christian Leroy Duncan at UFC 304. Bet Brad Tavares and bet Dillis Tuluyan. But yeah. Gregory, he's younger. I am a bit shitty that he's getting a ranked opponent. To be honest, I couldn't really care about him. But I got Gregory Rodrigues winning here by decision. I mean, this is an alright main event. I would have done something better, but I mean, Gregory Rodrigues getting a ranked opponent, I would have. Yeah, I get it, but I mean, I think everyone knows how this fight's gonna go down, and well. Yeah, Jared Cannonier ain't gonna look too good. Anyway, thank you for watching my predictions of all UFC Fight Night 102, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodrigues. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. That'll be a massive help. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.